charisma isn't something you're born with. It's not reserved for the young, the beautiful, or the naturally outgoing. It's a mindset built on two things: confidence and how you treat people. The good news, you're never too old to learn it. You're never too introverted to develop it. And you're never too far behind to start. So today I'm breaking down exactly how to become more charismatic, not in some vague inspirational way, but in practical, actionable steps that you can start using today. If that sounds at all interesting, I hope you'll stick around because that is what's on the agenda. Let's start with the basics because, of course, what is charisma? Well, it's not about being loud or walking into a room like you own the place or making sure everybody knows you've arrived. It's actually the opposite. Charisma is making other people feel good when they're around you. It's being fully there. It's warmth. It's that thing that makes somebody walk away from a 5-minute conversation thinking, I really liked them. Watch somebody with real charisma. People just naturally drift toward them without even thinking about it. Not because they're doing some kind of a performance or putting on a show, but because they make you feel like you matter. Like what you're saying is actually interesting. Like they're not mentally planning their grocery list while you're mid-sentence. They're comfortable in their own skin. They're genuinely interested in other people, and they're just easy to be around, which is really so much rarer than you'd think. And here's the thing, that's learnable. You don't need to be the funniest person in the room. You don't need the wildest stories or the most impressive resume. You just need to show up like the people around you are worth your time. Because when you do that, they feel it. That's charisma. And once you stop thinking it's some magical thing that you're born with, you can actually start building it. The foundation of charisma is being fully there, being in the moment with whomever you're talking to. Not checking your phone every 30 seconds like you're expecting, the breaking news, or not planning your next brilliant contribution to the conversation while they're still mid-sentence. I mean, you can see it in their eyes when somebody's checked out. They glaze over like the Wi-Fi just dropped mid-Zoom call. Seriously, it's just being there fully. When somebody feels like they have your complete attention, even for 5 minutes, it creates connection. They feel important and they feel interesting. And that feeling, that is what makes somebody memorable. It's not your witty observations or your impressive job title. Just the fact that you were actually present. For years, my clients have allowed me to put this little bug in their ear. I tell them, please allow me to sit on their shoulder during a date so that I'm able to whisper in their ear. Not really, I'm not really this little, but I want to remind them to ask follow-up questions. Just see me on your shoulder. Follow-up questions. Because here's what most people do. They ask a surface question, they get a surface answer, and then pivot to their own story. Oh, you took piano lessons? I took piano lessons too. Let me tell you about my recital disaster. That's not a conversation. That's two people taking turns performing monologues. Instead, ask a follow-up. Oh, piano lessons? Was there a particular song you felt compelled to play? Now you're learning what moved them. Then another one. Did you stick with it, or was it more of a phase you went through? Now you're getting commitment level, maybe a story about why they quit or kept going. This is how you actually learn who somebody is. So you don't waste a year of your life making assumptions about them, only to find out 6 months in that you had them pegged completely wrong. Carey story time. When I was, 10, maybe 11, I was allowed to walk by myself to our local Ben Franklin. It was a dime store, like a cross between a Walgreens and Kmart. Whenever I saved up enough allowance, I'd go there and buy some very strange things. But my mother's birthday was coming up at this point, so on this particular trip, I purchased a little gift for her birthday. It was a shadow box with a lone cigarette inside, and on the outside it said, "Break glass in case of emergency." I know, this was the 70s, and both my parents smoked cigarettes, and while it was thoughtful that I was thinking of my mother instead of buying another Barbie outfit or something really weird, It was so tacky and a waste of my money, honestly. I'm sure she could have done without. But that phrase, break glass in case of emergency, it's kind of stuck with me, and I happen to use it all the time with clients these days. Here's the thing, if you're afraid that a conversation might go sideways or get stuck in a rut where you're just talking about work or mundane topics, you just need a few go to stories tucked away in your mind that you can save a conversation with. These stories only need to be two things, really. One is a story that you enjoy telling, and the other is that you've received positive response from it before. Because if you enjoy telling it enough that you're repeating it often, there's something there for you. Maybe it reveals who you are on some level, or it's just fun for you to tell. Whatever it is, that matters, first and foremost. Secondly, these break glass stories are your insurance policy. They help you self correct when a conversation's dragging or help somebody else out of a funk when they've run out of steam. And you don't need an actual frame for it. You just need a list in your phone, story titles, topics that you can pull from when you need them. That way you're not panicking in real time trying to think of something interesting while the silence stretches out like a bad yoga class. Charismatic people can laugh at themselves, not in a self pitying, I'm such a disaster way, but in a confident, yeah, that was ridiculous and I'm okay with it way. Self deprecating humor shows that you're comfortable with yourself, that you don't take everything so seriously, including yourself, that you're human and that you're fine with other people seeing that, which is refreshing, by the way, because most people are walking around trying to look perfect all the time, and it's exhausting to watch. It disarms people, it makes you relatable, and it creates warmth. But here's the line, self deprecating humor works when it comes from confidence, when you're genuinely amused by your own mistakes or quirks. Doesn't work when it's fishing for reassurance. When you say something negative about yourself and then you pause waiting for somebody else to jump in and tell you, oh, it's not true, you're good, or what, that's not humor. That's insecurity with a punchline. So you have to laugh at yourself. You tell the story about the time that you confidently gave directions to somebody and sent them to the completely wrong way, but you tell it like it's funny, not like you're apologizing for existing. You know those red velvet ropes at a club or a restaurant? I once found myself on the classy side of that divider and immediately proved that I didn't belong. I tried to casually hop over it on my way to the ladies' room, and instead, full body, full marble floor, faceplant. A lovely gentleman scraped me up off the floor, and I did what any respectable woman would do. I flipped my hair like Miss Piggy, and I pretended it was all part of the plan, and I kept on moving. That's pretty much the vibe around here, too. If you can pop back up, dust yourself off, and hobble off with a belly laugh, then you're definitely in the right place. And channel membership is meant for you. There's a button down there. No, down here. There, right to the left. No, too far left. There is a difference between being warm and trying too hard to be liked, and people can feel it from across the room. Warmth is very natural. It's being kind and approachable, easy to talk to. It's smiling because you're genuinely enjoying the moment, not because you're performing friendliness like you're auditioning for a toothpaste commercial. Trying too hard looks like over complimenting or agreeing with everything that somebody says, even when you clearly don't. Filling every silence because you're terrified somebody might think that you're boring. That's not charisma. That's anxiety dressed up as enthusiasm. Charismatic people are interested in people, but they're not desperate for approval. They can show up as themselves, and they let that be enough. Because warmth isn't about making everybody love you. It's about making people feel comfortable around you. And surprisingly, that comes from being comfortable with yourself first. Reading the room, that matters too. If everybody's relaxed and low key vibe going on, don't come in with high energy and try to amp things up like you're hosting a game show. And on the flip side, if the vibe is already upbeat, don't come into a room and bring it down with like something real heavy, like your existential crisis. You try to match the energy that's already there. And then when something awkward does happen, don't pretend that it didn't. People sometimes try to do that. Instead, you should acknowledge it with a little humor and then just move on. That's how you handle the weird moments without making them weirder. Just laugh and let it go. And I'll say it again because it bears repeating. You've heard it in other episodes, but your body is talking before you open your mouth. So let's make sure it's saying the right thing and not, I'd rather be literally anywhere else. Worth repeating, right? Charismatic people have open body language. They're not crossing their arms, protecting themselves from attack. No, they're not hunching their shoulders over and turtling into their shell. You know that person who's talking to the floor like they dropped their confidence down there? We don't want to be that person. Instead, stand tall. Confident people can make eye contact and they lean in slightly when they're interested. Not in a weird, intense way where you're invading somebody's personal space, but just enough to signal, oh, I'm here and I'm listening to you. You have my attention. And here's a subtle one. Mirroring. When somebody leans forward, you lean forward a little bit. When they relax back, you relax back a little. It's subconscious, but it creates connection. You're not copying them like some kind of body language monkey or parrot. You're just syncing up. And that sync makes people feel comfortable. But the biggest thing, you're going to guess it. Relax. If you're stiff, people feel it. If you're nervous, they pick up on it. And then everybody's just standing there feeling awkward and nervous together. Your body language doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to match your energy. And when your energy is calm and confident and present, your body follows. So here's what it comes down to. Show up with intention. Pay attention and make people feel like they're worth your time because they are. You don't need to transform into somebody else. You just need to do the work. Practice being present. Get curious about people. Tell your stories. And let yourself be human. And trust that being genuine beats performing every single time. You are allowed to start small if you need to. The barista at the coffee place tomorrow morning or your coworker at lunchtime. The person on the train. That's where charisma starts, in those tiny, unglamorous moments, not at some elaborate cocktail party that you're never going to be at. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and one day you'll realize you're not thinking about it anymore, like driving a car or a bicycle. You're just doing it. All right, I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, you might want to check out this episode right here. Oh, yeah. Hey, before you go, that's my mom right there. Could you please give my little mama the thumbs up she's requesting? She said if this episode doesn't get 40 likes, I have to watch an opera with her. And I love her, but that's a threat. You know, charisma draws people in. Showing up consistently is what keeps them around. And I'm going to keep showing up here twice a week, just like clockwork. Until next time, have a good one.